today we got a special guest in the building. He was the 2009 top-ranked dual-threat quarterback coming out of Cy Ridge. He went to LSU, former LSU alumni. My dog, my brother. He played in the NFL for 8 years. Man, Mr. Russell Shepard, man. Give him his flowers a little bit. Hey, come on,
my
now.
boy Russ.
Come on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, we coming in just talking about shooting the shit. We just talking about what you got going on for yourself. I know you're an entrepreneur. Personally, me and you talk all the time. You got your own business. You've honestly helped me a lot in this transition on, getting out of the league, trying to get yourself over. I'm not a football player. I'm more than a football player. Right. I truly appreciate you for that. But I mean, man, what do you have going on for yourself right now? Talk to us.
Man. Well, I'm outside of transitioning. Running my own company, overseeing the staff. I got a growing family like yourself. I have 3 children. I got my oldest is a boy. I have 2 girls. Yeah. And I'm gonna have my 4th child on the way.
Come on
in
now.
Okay, congrats.
Yeah, three girls, girl dad. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
We listening to girl empowerment music in my car.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, all is good, man. Just scaling in all phases.
Yes, sir. I just want to bring it back a little bit because I want to give the audience the look of like how we came together. Me and you first met when we took a picture with Slim Thug in front of some planes. I think it was what was it? Vibe Magazine's first magazine where they had a whole magazine full of high school players around the area. Me and this dude was a part of the first annual little book that they had, and I still got the magazine. You still got the magazine?
Yeah, I still got it. Shout out to Matt, man. Like you said, that was a special time because Vipe has now turned into a staple within the Houston community with high school sports, and now even expanding to college, and they do things with us in the NFL when we go to the professional level. So I believe it's going close on to 15 years of being active, since we done the first cover shoot.
Man, that was crazy. I just remember, seeing all these athletes, and I was kind of like on the stairs because I'm like, bro, none of these dudes know who I am, but I know who they are. I'm like, dog, I see you all. What was the high school show we always used to watch? It was on Channel 55.
High School Sports Live.
After
the game, you gotta hear it.
We OGs, bro.
After the game, we used to try and hairpin get home after the game.
Right.
Get off the bus and hairpin. I gotta go home and watch my highlights. Right. That's the only way we could watch highlights before we watch film.
Bro, we OGs in the game, dog.
Damn, bro.
That was before social media. I mean, we are technically, we're the first also 2 high school kids to experience the social media trends,
we came from no social media to
MySpace.
MySpace, bro. MySpace
I was putting on different hats every other week.
We had the little phones, bro. A Liberty phone with a camera on it.
Right, and like I say, it was a unique time. We experienced. I got to play a high school game on ESPN my senior year. We had nationally, televised games when you went to the All-Star game. It was a lot of things. We went from not having any internet, social media to boom, it hit us. And it's just crazy to see what it's come to now.
Right. To see how kids are now. We used to have to make our own highlight tapes. Our coach did it for us. Now you got so many people. They see a kid, you got Overtime and all these people, these platforms on Instagram and Twitter, and they do everything for the kids. And it's just crazy how the reach is just so far now. And you see all these kids in high school, a 10th grader with millions of followers on Instagram, bro.
It's crazy.
It's crazy to see a 10th grader, 11th grader kid with all those followers. And I'm a grown man, and I'm like, damn, bro, like – how is that? Like, why is it like this now?
Yeah, it is unique, man. Like I say, it's what was needed, because the high school, the college, professional sports. I mean, sports and entertainment, man, they've just grown exponentially with the internet and just all these huge TV contracts and things like that. So it's beautiful to see that these guys be able to capture and own their own brands now. But on the flip side, you got a lot of things that's going on that, we traditionally, are not accustomed to seeing. I was suspended 2 times for, NCAA infractions, and, now they getting money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's very unique, and it's going to be interesting to watch it continue to grow.
Man, when we were coming up, you couldn't take nothing from a coach. Ice cream, anything, a backpack. Like, you couldn't take nothing from coaches. And now you seeing these dudes, they can call guys up and, take them out to eat and get them a Hellcat.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Get him a cat. I need that cat.
Yeah. It's
I
unique,
just think
man.
that's funny because they always talk about Saban when his team lose, and that meme is like, "Hey, I want all the Hellcat kids." But talking about football and bringing it back to the SEC, me and you, when we started at LSU, how much of for me it was just like a wake up call because I went from inner city school to SEC strength and conditioning program. Do you think, for me it did, but do you think anything that you learned from going through a lot of those workouts or going through dealing with Moffitt or anything made you a better man or a better, businessman because you knew you can get through anything?
Yeah, man. It was it was added to the foundation that I already had from my parents.
True.
Being a part of a successful high school program, I credit my high school coach.
Mm-hmm.
He was really big on, creating those things with discipline and, being able to just be genuine with the grind,
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got to LSU, I learned to embrace being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I learned to embrace, iron sharpen iron, running sprints with Patrick Peterson in the weight room with the Michael Fords, competing with the Odell Beckhams of the world and watching people like yourself, have a beautiful, just journey where you came in raw and you left so ready. And then you go on and you knew, our time at LSU played a big part into why we had these extended careers in the NFL. And again, you were, 11 years, double digit, probably still going to play tomorrow, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And then me and myself, I was an undrafted guy and played, a number of years, and retired by choice. So I give all the credit. I actually seen Moffitt at the tailgate this past weekend.
That's dope.
When we played for Florida, and I just gave him a hug, man. I said, I just can't thank you enough.
Man, I gotta get connected with Moffitt because that dude really, he saved me out of, he don't know he saved me, but just thinking about all the workouts that I had to get through at LSU helped me realize that nobody could break me. If I could get through them LSU workouts, nobody could break me. So we had to do extra running or whatever, in the league, I was like, bro, this is cake. This is cake.
Yeah, man. He was big. Lance Armstrong was this guy. You know what I'm saying? Extremist on the bicycle. So he was really big on just taking his interest in what he believed in and pushing it on us, and it was all about push yourself. Go.
For sure.
Go. So, yeah, you're right, man.
Mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter. That was his favorite quote.
Big Moffitt, man. Yeah.
All right, Russ. So take us back to 2009, bro. Number one dual threat quarterback in the nation. Like, what did that feel like? What was the recruit? In the nation. What did that feel like, bro? Being like nobody is better than you right now at this time. I'm not too many people can say I'm the number one at anything, bro. And you was the number one dual threat quarterback. Like, what was that life? What was your life like at that time?
Yeah, you know what? It was cool because again, we stepping into 4 or 5 years with the internet, at that time, and when I say internet, social media, we just got the MySpace, at that point, everybody didn't have laptops in their room, and, you watching still, videos on the overhead projector that they rolling on the classroom, strapped down to the
YouTube had just came out like maybe a few years before that.
I was one of the first high school athletes, on the YouTube thing, you know what I'm saying? So you're right. It was crazy because I was getting a lot more attention that on the national scale that the typical high school guy got. Usually if you're from LA, you don't, back when our people was coming up, you didn't know about a kid in Texas until you went to the same school. So you went to college, so we were seeing and knowing kids that played in Santa Barbara, California and, Pahokee, Florida. And so it was cool to spearhead that and be a part of that that first class of guys, and it was a cool thing, man. I
Max Preps and what else? What else was big doing that?
We were Rivals was a decade, almost 10 years in. It was and it was at its prime.
Yeah.
I still don't think on the high school side is not where it was back when we were kids because they have
Right.
so many things now.
Mhm.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like you said, they got interrupted and they got, you know,
Yeah,
uninterrupted. They got all these things, boardroom and all these other
Yeah.
platforms. But when we was kids, rivals.
That was it. That was it. And
it.
Max Preps. That
Max
was the only
Preps
two.
and Max Preps didn't have no highlights in that. You could just go in there and kind of look at people's stats a little bit, and kind of see who they were.
Right.
That or the newspaper.
100%.
what I'm That was
telling
it.
you. That's what I'm telling you.
And like I said, newspaper it limits your you seeing guys in other states and
Yeah.
other places. So
Mm-hmm.
again, it was cool, man. Because again, I was like, man, like look at this kid, look at this kid, look at this kid, and they saying I'm better than all of them. So
Yeah.
it was definitely a
What was recruiting like though?
crew was crazy, man. You know, I have a 200-pound tub of letters upstairs in my mom's house.
That's crazy.
You know, I have over probably 2,000 letters, handwritten letters.
Yeah.
In that thing, and I just keep it just, you know, it just
Yeah.
turns into a beautiful, you know, it's almost like a, you know, a trophy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
for sure.
Sitting up in my room. So, man, that was a crazy experience just going through that.
Mm-hmm. I'm intrigued because talking about the dual threat. You were dual threat when you got to LSU, or they not dual threat, but they had you at quarterback, but they also moved you at receiver. And we were just previously just talking briefly about what it took to get over that as a man, because nowadays these kids, hey, as soon as they feel like, oh man, I don't want to play this, man, I'm going somewhere else. But when we were coming up, you couldn't just hit the transfer portal and go to another school and play the next week. Like it was like if you felt like you had to hit the transfer portal, like you said, you felt like ashamed. Like you didn't feel like, man, they ran me up out of here. Like how did you handle that? And do you think, like, what's the difference between us and then the kids now?
Right. Well, like you said, the transfer portal is giving a lot of guys to control their destiny.
Right.
If they choose not to be, where they at that point in time, and with us, it wasn't as simple. First off, we didn't have the portal. You had to go to your coach and say, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. And then he had to agree to you being able to go to certain places.
True.
He could ban certain conferences. He can ban certain places. He can ban you leaving for certain reasons. I mean, he can stop you from leaving for certain reasons. So
That's crazy.
it wasn't that easy. And just in general, LSU, man, I went there because it was at that point coming out of high school, out of all the schools, I had experience from the USCs, the Texas, the Floridas, the Michigans, the Oregons. It had the best pool of talent of guys going to one place.
Yeah.
And I was an ultra competitive guy. I wanted to play with the Tyrann Matthews, the Ruben Randalls, the Michael Brockers, the Daniil Hunters, the Quan Alexanders, the Deion Jones. I mean, I can keep going.
Hey,
You know
we
what
got
I'm
a
saying?
long list.
SEC, bro. The SEC
Brandon
list
Taylor,
be crazy in general.
I mean, we seen Justin Jefferson when he was 10, 11 years old. He was
Right.
running around the WCA.
Right. Morris Claiborne. Like, come on,
Shaq,
bro.
Shaq White.
Yeah,
Trey
Shaq White
Charles.
was sleeping on the couch.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
sleeping on that couch, and now he was a first round pick. I was like, that's
Come on,
crazy.
man. You know what I'm saying? And before that, he was the number one DB in the country.
Come on
You know
now.
what I'm saying? Number one player in the state of Louisiana. So, again, from the group of guys that we were rubbing shoulders with and breaking bread with and grinding with it on a daily basis, I seen that, they were trailblazers and the dogs in their areas and their communities, and they were setting the tone of what football looked like. So I couldn't leave that. I couldn't let my experience, the expectations of the letdown of others, really forced me out of the jungle, as we say.
Sure. Hey, I'm gonna be real with you for talking about how much talent they had on that team. We didn't have like a lot of beef. It wasn't a lot of beef on our team. Like we actually went to each other's house and hung out and did. It wasn't a lot of beef on our team for us to have a bunch of 5 stars, 4 stars, whatever. And we went out there and competed. We went out there and competed every week.
You can't win at that level and not have organically just guys that just gel
group, yeah.
and come together. It's a bunch of talented teams. I mean, we see it every year, but we keep it G. We loved each other. We cared for each other.
Right, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And we still do.
Man, come on, man. We cut like that. And like I said, even in the NFL, like GMs, they wanted LSU guys on their team because they knew they were great, not only great talents, they were great locker room guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to bring energy. They're going to lead. They're going to practice hard. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to set the tone. We first in line to go to war. You know what I'm saying? So it was just beautiful to be a part of that culture that, you know, we feel like we helped create.
For sure. Talking about LSU and going into the league now, do you think, you know, because you were undrafted going into the league. Now, how did you deal with that going from, you know, 5-star number one ranked dual threat quarterback to now having to, you know, go undrafted, and now you understanding like, okay, I got to work for everything I get now. Like, how did being at LSU and going through a lot of those things help you, you know, further your career?
Yeah. So, you know, in the time, in the moment, it was beating my ass up. You know what I'm saying? Going through that and having so many high expectations coming into LSU on myself and other people having on me, and going through, you know, the struggles of dealing with that was tough. But you know, thank God I had a good support. You know, at the point, and my wife at that time, my girlfriend was at the school with me. You know, I had supportive parents. I had good teammates. So, you know, like I said, if I was going through it, y'all was like, Shep, you good? We straight. Like, you know, and if I said no, you like, nah, we good. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I had that around me to help carry me through. So, you know, me, you know, not allowing that to affect how I grind, how I treated people, and how I wanted to continue to grow as a young man, it just added to me. So when I did get the opportunity in the NFL, oh man, it was over. You know what I'm saying? And I was a running back in college. I got more rushing yards than I got receiving yards in LSU history.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I was a quarterback that never threw a pass. You know,
crazy.
I was a receiver that really didn't run nothing but a bubble screen and
got out of that.
a jet sweep. You know?
That's really all you need now.
Exactly. So nowadays I fit perfect because nowadays they trying to get the ball to as many people as they can. You know, so in today's game, my skill set is valuable. But when we got Odell Beckham, we got Ruben Randall, you know, we got Terrence Tolliver, we got, you know, Jarvis Landry, you know, we got James Wright who was drafted, we got Kadrian
That's
Boone.
a crazy roster in itself, bro.
And we still
thinking of
enjoying throwing the ball 15 times a game.
Shut your ass up. He said 15 times a game.
On average.
He said on average.
On average. And then, like I said, our running backs were really big a part of our production offensively. So if we threw it 20 times, 15 times a game, being serious, 6 balls, 10 balls could go to the backs.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say is that we were limited opportunities, and we had to find other unique ways to show out on film, whether it was blocking, whether it's just being a very efficient guy with just a low percentage of balls. Like, we had to figure out how to make it in such a crowded and a limited scheme. And that's why the NFL was such an easy transition for me, because I always had to figure out how to be a value to the team amongst talented guys. So when they told me, hey, you just got to go tackle, hey, look, run down here and tackle him, it was like, all right, cool.
For sure.
I can do that.
Quickly talk about you were a captain in 2000, what was that?
2015 for the Buccaneers on special teams.
Out of my 7-year active career, I was a 3-time captain, 2 times with the Buck, and I was a 1-time captain with the New York Giants in my second year. So yeah, man, I lived and breathed standing on business, being about what I say.
That says a lot. That says a lot.
Yeah, man. It made. It was one of the things that meant the most to me, being an undrafted guy, and being able to have the confidence of the staff in the locker room, knowing that at the end of the day, every day I had to make the roster.
Right.
I was no salary casual, no guarantee guy. Everything was dispensable with me.
That's facts.
All right, bro. So look, can you kind of explain to the people out there, because they don't give out that seat patch to everybody. Can you kind of explain what all that took? And Mike, you too, because you was a team captain as well. Like, can y'all both kind of give y'all opinions on what you felt like it took to get to that status to have that C on your chest or on your shoulder or whatever you want to
go first? Or?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think on both ends. First round pick, undrafted guy. You know, like he come in the locker room, people got negative expectations because he taking somebody's spots. You know, he making more money than veteran guys. Like, you know, myself, I'm, you know, they're not worried about me, but at the same time, you know, there's a you know, there's no expectations for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think for me it was you know, I was trying to more so prove to myself. I had nobody expecting me to make a roster. Nobody, no coach, no GM, you know, and then they was telling me, look, hey, you don't even have to catch a ball. Learn how to tackle. You know, go embrace blocking on special teams, front line on kickoff return. Like I just had to be, you know, be willing to adapt.
So, for I'm gonna cut you off. For you kids out there, did you not? That's a gem, right? You don't have to always go and try and catch a football. You can make a living off of special teams.
Yeah, until my third year, I had more tackles and catches in the NFL, and I'm active every game. I made the team every year. You know, like Brock, I signed 3 multi-year contracts. You know what I'm saying? Not to his extent. You know,
Stop it.
But at the same time, you know, coming from you know my humble beginnings in the NFL, I was blessed. You know what I'm saying? So again, it was I had to prove to myself, and I had to then, you know, once I had the confidence in myself and my game, then I had to be able to challenge others and hold guys accountable as an undrafted guy. And that's what my journey was, and that's how I got the respect of my peers and the organization, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and all the other teams, the Giants and the Carolina Panthers, was like, okay, look, he gonna do the dirty work, and then he gonna speak on, he gonna hold his counterparts accountable.
I think that's dope because, you know, for context, you know, for an undrafted guy to be a captain or to have, you know, the pride of the balls to tell other guys, hey, bro, you know, you need to do this and do that. It's ballsy because people, you know, dudes like, bro, you undrafted.
I'm a grown ass man.
When people respect you and respect your craft, like if you showing up every day and you putting 100% in every day and I see it, I can't say nothing to you. I can't say, damn, you know, I can't say, you know, if he say something to me, I can't say nothing back to you because I see you showing up every day. And I think that's what I had to learn and grasp because my getting to captain was organic for me. Because, you know, at first I didn't want to be captain because I didn't want people really looking up to me because I was like, bro, I'm nobody, bro. I still got to earn my stripes. So I don't want to, you know, I don't want that much pressure. And then as I got older in the league, you know, by my year 7, I started to realize, like, damn, I'm the oldest guy in the room. And these guys need a leader. You know, they need somebody that's gonna hold them accountable, but at the same time, he go show up too. So, you know, for me, it happened. You know, I didn't want to be a leader, but it just so happened like I was always, you know, pushing people to be better. You know, if it, you know, somebody was complaining, I was like, you and me guy. You know, just jokingly, but I always kept people on their toes. So, you know, after a while, they was like, damn, Brock on this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I just think after a while, just being that, like you say, that voice for the locker room where it's like, hey, we sore or whatever, and we know we've been going at it, I go up to coach, hey, coach, come on, man, we need a walkthrough day or something. You know, it's like, and people appreciated you for that because nobody else could do that. Nobody else felt like, you know, they were in that position where they can go up to coach and tell him, like, you know, go to his office and be like, hey, you know, we need a lighter practice. You know, nobody, you know, all the young guys like, hey, bro, I'm just here. You know, I'm trying to collect my check. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm like, I didn't collect my checks, man. I'm about the, you know, the fellas. You know, it's all about keeping the fellas, you know, right and comfortable. Because if we good, then you can expect us to play good on Sunday. 100%, so 100%. That's where I was with it.
But like. Okay, so being voted captain, you kind of talked to us about, like, can you kind of tell your story? Like, how did that happen? Like, what made them say, hey, you know what, we gonna put this C on your chest?
Yeah. So it happened with me. It happened my 3rd and my 4th year in Tampa. Those were my first 2 years being the captain. And like Brock said, it was an organic, you know, thing. You know, obviously there's a voting process that goes on after training camp, right before the first regular season game. And but prior to that, man, it's multiple practices and experiences with your team and the organization and the coaches and executives. So, you know, the organic approach, as Brock said, is that you got to practice your ass off every day.
So it's not just going off game film like, hey, this guy.
It's every day because practice is more intense than the games, especially for guys like myself or a first-round draft pick that's trying to prove his worth. You know, you got to come and show your worth. You got to come earn it. And like I say, you know, it's 100 men trying to feed their family, trying to live out their dream. They come in with that pressure. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta, you know, that's when I knew it was over for me. When I didn't want, when my competitive edge was wearing down a little bit. I didn't want to work out no more. I like Brock. I took pride in like every day getting up during off season and adding to my craft, adding to my bag. And when I didn't want to work out no more, I was like, damn. It got to come to an end because it's no longer I'm gonna be able to compete with people chasing their dreams. Right? You know what I'm saying? When somebody chasing their dreams or when they come from poverty and they gotta get it, man, you gotta be.
I ain't
careful
got nothing else, bro.
You gotta be careful with that. You better meet that energy because if you don't meet that energy, it's gonna be a bad day. You know what I'm saying? So when I knew I had other aspirations to provide and take care of my family, I knew it was over for me, but the process, man, is organic. You can't BS it. You got to earn it every day, every script, every play, and slowly but surely you get the respect of all the men who were the best and wherever they came from.
Sure. I used to work out with like all the undrafted or late round guys because it's something about their drive to always prove themselves.
Like it push you.
They ain't got no leg to stand on in that league, bro. Every week it's like, hey, they can be chopped and it can be a new motherfucker in here. You know what I'm saying? So the way they worked out, the way they went about their business was like, dog, I can't take no practices off. I can't take no lifts off. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that, what you call it? I don't have that.
A little bit of leeway.
That leeway to do things like that. So for me, I always tend to watch them guys and work out with them guys because I was like, damn, they hungry. I need to be hungry like them. I need to be hungry like them. You know what I'm saying? So that's what kind of kept me always into it because I was like, man, I don't want to work out with the motherfuckers that got it, you know, because they don't want to work out. Besides AD a workout motherfucker. But everybody else, bro, they was like, man, I ain't got to work out, bro. You know, I got it. Like, I'm getting sacks. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm working out with these young guys. I'm trying to, you know, push myself. So I think that's what a little bit about it was. Being from LSU is how competitive it was, bro. I remember the first week I'm going to lift in the summer, and, you know, I see all the receivers, they getting up to the 100-pound dumbbells, 100%. Bro. And I'm like, man, what they doing?
Yeah, 100%.
Man, I tried to pick that bitch out. I was like, no, sir. And
I remember long skinny Brock back in
I was weak. Bro, I remember vividly Brandon LaFell looking at me and talking about, yeah, this a big boy game. He hitting the hundreds. I'm like, boy, what did I walk into? Because when the receivers hitting 100-pound dumbbells, bro, it's a different experience, dog.
Yeah, but, man, it was beautiful, though, man. You came in raw, man. You came in raw than anybody in our class. And, you know, we had 18 guys in our class, and 12 of them played in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So crazy. One of the better classes to ever touch LSU, you know. So, and again, his was organic, man. Like, he came in and he knew he wasn't ready. You know, everybody knew he wasn't ready. But again, he wasn't ready. It wasn't because he wasn't working his ass off or he wasn't going to class. It was his beginning. He came from a single mom. He was learning, teaching himself. He didn't come from a Cypress school or Katy school. Right. So when he got there, he was just doing what he knew, what he knew, and he listened to them coaches. He applied his work ethic to what they said do, and man, like I say, by the time his redshirt junior year, it was over. Was it your redshirt junior year?
It was redshirt sophomore year.
Sophomore year. It was over. I watched the national championship game, I watched the replay. I watched the replay of the Georgia game, the conference championship game.
Yeah.
Dab him up.
Yeah, because my guy, man. I mean, to be honest with you, he had 1 full year of film. That's really what it was. Because besides that, he had some really good players in front of him when he was younger.
Speaking of good players, you played with Cam.
Yeah.
Can you can we kind of get into how was that playing with Superman?
Yeah, man, the best in-game player that I got the chance to play with, You know, I
play against. I mean, I mean because you all, but shit, we played with it. We played against him
at
at Auburn.
Auburn.
That shit was turned.
Yeah, we experienced that. I experienced Cam in Auburn. I watched him, do what he did. As we all know, we ain't got to speak on it.
Shout out Cam Newton.
Yeah. But then I was in Tampa for 4 years, and I was, we played that.
Played against.
Yeah, exactly. Twice a year. And I got to experience 2017. I got to experience the dab year. You know what I'm saying?
It was getting crazy.
It was a wave, man. I mean, I've never seen a player control the stadium like Cam. And again, like I say, Cam works his butt off. You know what I'm saying? Cam is very competitive. Cam is very confident. Cam is very God-givenly talented.
Yeah.
So all that mixed together, with the extra. It was amazing to see, man. I got a lot of respect for Killer.
You know what's crazy?
Shout out to Killer.
It was crazy. Speaking on Cam, bro, he kind of, I don't know if Mike remember this, but he kind of motivated Mike to get into the family stuff on Instagram. Because remember you sent me that video. He was like, bro, I think I'm ready to post my family. Yeah. He sent me a video of Cam just like on some like real organic stuff, the word y'all use, organically just taking care of his kids. And I don't remember what it was.
Black and white.
Yeah, it was in black and white. Yeah. And it was just so raw, and you just saw it like outside of no football. It was just him being a dad, and I watched that video and I was like, damn, bro, yeah, I see where he coming from now.
Yeah. Killer's a very genuine person. He's strong in who he is and confident in who he is and what he chooses to how he expresses himself. Yeah. So you got to give him tip your hat to Killer because Cam he gonna be Cam.
He gonna be Cam. That's what I love about him.
He gonna be Cam, and then Killer told me. In 2016, he wanted to have 10 children. So I mean, he loved
kids.
Yeah, he loved the fatherly figure. Now he gonna get there, however he gonna get there. But yeah, man, we used to have a crazy. So the night before the game, man, we used to have genuine conversation. When I was with Carolina, we had Julius Peppers, we had Thomas Davis, we had Cam, we had Greg Olsen. We had Charles Johnson. We had KK Shores, James Bradbury, Kurt Coleman. We had a lot of strong personalities. It was very intimidating for me because I've always been a leader in the locker room. And when I got to that locker room, that's the first time in my sports career I had to take a back seat. I mean, we had Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly is top 3, one of the best leaders, football players I've ever played with. This man knew everybody's name in the building.
That's crazy.
That's crazy,
His
bro.
mind is crazy, bro.
The janitor, the cafeteria people, the security. Like when you that type of person and you command that type of attention when you step into a building, and for you to be able to remember and hold conversations and remember things like how's your child, their birthdays. When you can do that, man,
you're probably running a Fortune 500 company right now.
Yeah. He's a very good man, amazing, talented guy. Him and Josh McCown, as well as believe it or not, Jameis Winston, man, one of the best leaders I've been around.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a crazy locker room lineup, bro. So playing with all them guys, right? All these type of leaders and all these people that know stuff like that. Did you have anybody that kind of mentored you that you kind of fell into like this is the guy that I'm kind of, having these conversations with all the time?
Yeah. So, that, like you said, very mature locker room. We were at that time the oldest team in the NFL that year. Probably one of the older teams, in the conference, I think, when I go back and look at it. But it was good, man. A lot of those guys were older. Thomas Davis was in year 13 at the time. Pep was in year Julius Peppers was in year 16. Josh McCown. Just all the guys. Josh, wasn't there. But even Jonathan Stewart, he was in year 9, 10. So, seeing the guys and seeing just the type of family man they were, to that point, I came from Tampa, which was we had a high turnover. Out of my 4 years in Tampa, we led the league in different transitions on and off the team. So I was accustomed to seeing a lot of guys and just, young guys and just guys that they trying out and want to see, is he a part of, building process. So Carolina was good for me to see how guys, had families and be able to balance, chasing, being able to compete and produce at that level, the love of the game and still be great fathers. So from Cam, to all the way to the Thomas Davises of the world, it was good for me.
Did you have anybody that kind of introduced you into like the entrepreneurship type of lifestyle, or was that just something you was like, man, I think I might be done with football soon, so let me just try and figure something out.
Yeah. So when I got to Carolina, which was my 5th year, I was at that point. I did a little entrepreneurship myself. I was at that point. I had a trucking company that was about 4 years old. It was Shep Boys Trucking, and again with that company, it was a great experience. But by 3, I knew it wasn't. I didn't want to have dump trucks. You know what I'm saying? So I bought out of that company by my original partners, which was my mom and dad, and I was able to move on. So when I got to Carolina, I was going on almost 2 years of kind of just being bought out of the company and looking for something new. And you're right. Carolina had an older locker room, and I met actually one of my first business partners. He wasn't the Cam Newtons or the Julius Peppers or all the other guys on the team. It was a guy named by Burston. Forget B. Oh my gosh, B name, but Burson. Burson was one of the receivers on the team, man. Really good guy. And he introduced me to one of my future, investment firms, which was Silver Rock. Morgan Companies, where I was able to invest in a lot of commercial real estate, get a lot of private equity in a lot of companies, rifle companies, just all type of tech companies. So that locker room was good for me because it was the first networking business locker room that I ever been in.
Yeah.
Brenton Burston. Damn, Beeb. I'm sorry, bro. I went brain dead, but Brenton Burston, man, he was in Carolina for a few years before me. And undrafted guy as well. Then he now is an investment counsel and partner in a few companies.
So when did you know, and I know you talked about not wanting to, work out in your competitive edge, but when did you feel safe to retire or leave the league? Because that's what I'm kind of going through right now. It's like, I'm out the league, but I don't feel any pull towards the league. Like you see other guys, they I just seen JPP sign back. I was like, damn, he old as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Dude, in my mind, I'm kind of like, need the money, just kind of, subconsciously. So, like, how did you get to the point where you were like, okay, I'm good, and I'm ready to leave the league on my own?
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest with you, I'm a perfectionist in terms of competitiveness. I can't sleep if I'm not competing my all.
For sure.
So that was the number one thing. I knew that like if I'm not gonna go out here and be a dog, then I don't want to go out there and look like a cat. You know what I'm saying? And the second thing was since I started business and I started the entrepreneurship thing early, in my NFL journey, I knew the importance of having other streams of income. And then again, being an undrafted guy, my first check was $7,500 signing bonus to the Philadelphia Eagles. At the taxes, it was $4,200. I didn't get $1 million signing bonus, so I knew I immediately went to the bank and I set my own bank account up. I didn't have a financial, so I had financial literacy just by experience coming in as an undrafted guy and starting my own businesses. So I knew once I had to play.
Right.
What was next? I knew the best thing for me was to go on a journey of starting my own thing.
Facts.
I every year I tried to sit down with as many executives and and owners as I can. And I got to sit down to this one man. He was a CEO of a real estate investment firm in Jersey when I was with the Giants, and he said, Russell, you got to think about it, man. If you make $100 million, and you just retire, you can't do nothing else that's going to generate. They don't think you can do nothing else that's going to generate cash flows, anything like that. They can handle that type of lifestyle or things that you accumulate, liabilities. So he was like, he said, you don't need to make that much money no more. You know what I'm saying? But he said, if you're a Google executive, if you are an entrepreneur, if you this or that, if you get fired from this job, you can go somewhere else.
Right.
And you can, you can consult for, this amount of money, this and that. He said, once you're done playing ball, you can't go nowhere else and do that. You know what I'm saying? So when he told me that, all the things he listed out, I was like, entrepreneurship, that's something I'm familiar in. And so, from, my, fifth, sixth year until I retired in 2020 at the height of COVID, I went on this crazy binge, just a sponge of just trying to figure out what was next. And it led me to my now waste company, Shep Boys.
So what was that like? Like just out of everything you can do in the world, right? let me go drive a poop truck around.
Right. Yeah. So it was crazy because for 2 years, again, I met with a lot of executives. I met with a lot of people from different industries, different companies, and I was just trying to see. I was trying to find a company that, that had a low capital entry point, where I didn't have to go invest, millions and millions of dollars to generate, capital. I was looking for something that can, really benefit my team. My mom, my dad, my wife, my people I grew up with, they're not tech people. They're not, lawyers, doctors. They're hard worker, blue collar people. So, I look for something where my team can thrive in and they can be a part of. True. And the other thing was just, just something that was just attractive that I can scale and I can exit. Because, by this point, I knew the importance of building something that you can eventually sell. With the trucking company, you liquidate the equipment and you can't really, it's nothing really to sell.
Right.
You just got to sell the trucks back and this and that. So I wanted to build something, perfect it, and let it go. So for 2 years, I was building a sports agency. I went to the NFL. I told the NFL we need more former players being agents. I sold this, this whole thing, this wave to them. So they bid it, and they sent me on a 2-year program of going to different. I spent a week with the NFLPA. I went to the NFL office in New York. I went to the combine, and literally my last little internship with the NFL at the NFL combine. I realized that this wasn't what I wanted to do. I had a horrible experience at the combine.
I almost want to ask you what happened, bro.
Yeah. Well, I was in a room with 300 agents. I realized I didn't want to rub shoulders with these type of people. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. I actually went to one of my former teammates' house and, had a real conversation. At that point, he was a year or two out of playing ball and was still trying to go back but wasn't getting a call.
Right.
And I realized how much he had to get to where he needed to go. Okay. And I was like, do I want to work for this type of individual? And no knock to my guy, because again, I think that's why we need former players representing players, because we can really help them. Right. But again, I didn't want to work for young men that at that point in time weren't really ready to grow up. I called my wife. I said, baby, I don't think I want to do this. And again, I'm going on 2 years of building this. I was supposed to take my, get my test and study and take my test within a few months. And I said, I don't want to do it. And I said, baby, I'm looking for, she's like, well, come home, let's talk about it. And I had a contact in my phone who had a waste company, a guy by the name of John Farley. He was a guy I met in high school. He was a family friend of my wife. And John, man, he quit. He was executive at this waste company, making 6 figures, doing really well for about 20 years. And he quit in 2009 when I was a high school, guy, and I had all this people trying to get to me. And he quit and said, Russ, I'm about to start this waste company. He said, man, waste is everywhere. People need it. They're going to pay whatever for it. And, man, I watched him from 2009 to the time when I was in the NFL, and he scaled the company to 300 employees. John was doing 30+ million in revenue. Yeah. And the company at that point was about 12 years old. Still was fairly young, because this was 2019. I talked to him. He started in 2009. So over a 10-year period, he scaled it to a 30+ million dollar company. And again, this was a man that retired at 55. And started a company, and now has one of the fastest growing waste companies in the country.
That's crazy, bro. That's impressive, bro.
And that's the thing, bro. People think that you need to be an athlete. You got to be an athlete. You got to be a rapper. You got to do all this stuff to make money. You don't. Right. You can clean poop and make $30 million a year, bro. Yeah. That's a crazy number, bro. And that you think about it, people pee and poop all day long. Yeah,
but so the crazy thing is, like I said, John, I reached out to John, and again, people are busy and they have these companies, this scale, and they doing it. It's different than what we do. When we make $30 million, we are a one-man show. We pay a few people. But in the real world, when you accumulate that type of revenue, you usually got a staff of people. So, trying to get in contact and having to sit down with him was pretty tough. So, when I went to him, I originally wanted to do a dumpster company, a roll-off company, as they would call it, because we have experience in, trucking and logistics on the dumpster side. So, I say, John, I finally got him to sit down and talk. I said, John, man, I'm getting burnt out on ball. I don't think I really kind of want to play no more. And this was my 8th year. And he was like, well, Russell, what you want to do? And I was like, John, I think I want to start a roll-off, a dumpster company. He was like, well, Russell, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm about to start one now, too. And honestly, to be honest with you, I deal with about 5,000 companies nationwide, and they provide supplies from, fencing, dumpsters.
Yeah.
Trash compactors, and then the last thing he said was portable toilets. He says, and all the people that I work with and I help them sell their assets, he says the portable toilets, they do the best. They cash flow every day. People shitting and pissing every day.
Yeah.
People gonna call you for that all the time. He says, the low, it's the lowest entry point. For every $1 million you spend to start a porta potty company, you got to spend another $2 million to start a dumpster company, because the assets. So a dumpster is going to cost you $10-15 grand.
Right.
A porta potty going to cost me $500, and it's going to last me for 10 to 15 years.
Talk to us.
I pay that porta potty off by the second, third month of renting it out.
Right.
Sometimes it'd be the first month. If it's a big enough project. So again, it was something that he really kind of put me on game. And he says, I use 6 companies in the Houston area. If you buy brand new equipment, if you hire a good staff, I'll come check you out, and I'll help you outsource your stuff.
Man.
And man, I told my mom and dad, I said, man, I'm done. They said, what you want to do?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm about to start a porta potty company. I'm like, oh shit, baby.
Right.
And
right.
after I kind of told them everything, she looked at me and she said, all right, let's do it.
Right.
They sold the trucking company a week later. They became partners.
Oh, okay, they jumped down with you.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
10 toes down.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out mom and daddy.
100%. My mom is my vice president of my company. I mean, we 3 years old. We've made millions in our short existence, and she oversees it. My dad is my operational manager. You know what I'm saying? He oversees the operation, our staff, the day-to-day, things that go on. So, again, they sold the company. We bought brand new equipment. We got it going. John came and seen us.
Yeah.
And, the rest is history.
Hey, let me ask you this real quick. You're a boss now. Do you think what you've learned in football helped you be a better boss?
Oh yeah, man. I'm holding people. Like, the biggest thing is like what we had to get used to, and you're in this journey now, is that we our expectation levels are high.
Yeah.
And then like we're willing to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, the thing is that I came in on 10.
Right.
I'm waking. We start the first person at the yard at 4:30. So I'm coming in and I'm showing up at 3:30.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Show 'em.
Yep. Come on. I'm going to sleep at 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm for 3 years. I'm consistent. I'm disciplined with everything that I got to do. I'm doing I'm trying to make the team, coach.
Right.
And the everyday person is not accustomed to that.
Right.
And I'm used to being in a locker room full of them type of people. So with me, it was, I came in, I had the drive, I had the ambition, and I was willing to get uncomfortable and learn all the things that come with scaling the business, dealing with CPAs, dealing with insurance companies, dealing with permits, dealing with payrolls, and being able to do all these things. Like that was the uncomfortable thing for me. But the first year or two, it was nothing, because I just had to just be humble enough to deal with shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like I said, the thing that I had to get used to is being able to figuring out how to identify strength in other individuals who are not the high achievers as we tend to are still and we're around. And I had to be able to get people to see, hold them accountable, hold my staff accountable, but at the same time, don't hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't they're not me. Yeah. That's the reason why most Hall of Fame players are horrible coaches. Because
we was talking about this. We was talking about this.
It's the same thing in business. It's the same reason why most of these people didn't make it to the NFL, the NBA. It's not because, they can't. It's just because, like I said, we possess that consistent discipline it takes to be that type of player.
Yeah, Brody. So you got any other entrepreneurships you got going on, or you just Ship Boys boo-boo truck?
Yeah, man. So, we scaling. Ship Boys are scaling. We're about to scale throughout the, southern Louisiana. We'll pretty much stretch I-10. We'll go I-10 from Houston all the way to New Orleans. Probably even go a little bit east and go to Mobile. And then from that point, we're going to start, another waste company. The beautiful thing about the waste industry, man, is that we've already been approached 3 times to be acquired. These huge companies like Waste Management, Republic Waste, they want to be the only company. So they're very aggressive when it comes to acquiring. So, I want to build as many waste companies as I can, put them in a portfolio, a holding company. And then, like I said, it's kind of like investment.
My boy got a master plan.
Hey, bro, that's what I'm talking about, bro. He really helped me, after I came back and I was dealing with the whole Detroit issue. I was like, bro, like, what you got going? Because I felt, I seen him so comfortable at where he was, and he was scaling, and going from talking about football and where we was at LSU to see this Russell now it's not a different Russell, it's just a more upgraded Russell. You executive, you a boss now. So for me, I'm like, bro, where can I learn from you? You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're doing it, man. Flowers to you. You got to get out there and get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We so used to being uncomfortable in a physical, a gladiator style.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't usually, we're not taught to challenge ourselves intelligently, mentally, and just get out there and socially. We even in the NFL, we acquire all this money. And we become so standoffish. We don't want to talk to nobody, this and that, because we're so used to our privacy being just, disrespected, or just being, boundaries are not being kept. You know what I'm saying, with fans and coaches and family members. So, we got to continue to transition into those uncomfortable things, because, like I was telling, B, man, you got a beautiful name in the city. You have a beautiful career. You've done amazing things to protect your brand, your legacy, and you got these babies. We got to build something so we can hand off to them and truly create the general wealth. Because going to the NFL and making $100-200 million, if that's the only time you've accumulated that wealth and there's nothing else, don't have to be that same level of capital revenue. But if there's nothing else, then there's no generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? It has to be something. Generational wealth is capital, is assets that can be passed on, transferred on. So if you don't have that, and if you only leaving money to your children, good luck.
Yeah, man. You never know what they gonna do with it, bro.
Yeah, man.
Question. So driving a poop truck, right? Yeah. You ever had like accident or anything like that?
Yeah. So, when I retired, man, I went from being in the 5-star locker rooms, being on the NFL, stadiums, and doing the whole thing to driving this truck. I drove the truck for a year.
Do it stink in there?
Man, it does. It smells like shit. But the crazy thing is, as you continue to drive and you get accustomed to it, you
don't smell no more.
Smell it. So
crazy.
I didn't. After probably the 3rd month, I stopped smelling it. So I'm going in the house. My wife is like, bro, baby, go to the shower. You ain't got to kiss me when you first come in. So. But me, we making money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We did $1 million in revenue. You know what I'm saying? Our first year in business. First full year. You know what I'm saying? And we were scaling quick.
Shep
you know
boys.
what I'm saying? Yes, sir. People shitting and pissing every day.
Man, across Houston, Texas, I get proud every time I see them porta potties, them orange ass porta potties.
We got 1,000. We have over 1,000 rentable items out. Varying from portable toilets, waste tanks, water tanks. I have 3,000 gallon water tanks.
Come on.
We service septic systems. We can do a little bit of grease here and there.
Yeah.
At this point, like I said, it's our picking. Whichever type of shit, whether it's in a portable toilet or it's at a restaurant, we want. So it's a beautiful thing, man. Like I said, our ultimate goal is to be able to scale to regional, be able to deal with natural disasters. Our biggest clients are the industrial refineries like the Exxon Mobils, the Valeros. So we want to continue to scale and get to the 20,000 to 30,000. Rentable items like some of these companies out here have.
Well, okay, I'm saying, when you driving that truck, right, you never just like spill poop on your leg or your arm or
yeah. I see what you're saying. So one time, again, me driving, going from the football field to the goddamn shit truck. I was at the disposal site, and again, we organically growing this, so we got a lot of people that we're learning with. So one of our young guys didn't close the valve at the discharge. Each truck has a discharge mount at the back that you have to you have to close the valve, and then when you go to a disposal site to dispose the
you
waste,
open it back up.
You attach the hose and then you open it up.
Okay.
Well, our young guy, he just had the cap on there and he didn't close the valve. And me being you're not going through our checks and just being a young new, I opened the cap up and I got sprayed with 2,000 gallons of shit and piss at the disposal
Not
site.
your shit and piss though.
Yes, sir. And like I said, and then I got up and then like it's still coming out. So like the people looking at me, they like close it. Close it.
So you slipping around and shit.
I'm slipping. I got a hammer. I'm trying to hammer it. So I eventually find a hammer, and I hammer it closed. And like I said, I'm covered in shit and piss.
Because there's so much coming out, you can't just pull it.
Can't
There's
just
so
pull
much
it.
pressure.
At that point, again, that's thousands of pressures, of human waste, of a liquid, gallons coming out.
That would have ruined me.
Yeah,
that would have ruined me.
yeah.
That would have ruined a lot of people. Would have been like, "Nah, I'm
my
done."
truck.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. You know what?
Oh, no, I'm done for the day. Maybe not done with the company, but I'm done today.
Yeah, I was ready to be done with everything. I was ready to entertain some of them offers we had on the table. But yeah, again, man, like I said, it's a beautiful thing, man. People, they really downplay the simple things. And again, quick story. We chase in our market, construction and oil and gas. We chase those two industries, and we said, how can we create a product that can sell to those two type of industries?
Right.
And then we realized, okay, then my people aren't tech people. They aren't, lawyers. They aren't real estate people. They're hardworking people. So we said, we're humble enough to deal with the waste.
Right.
Again, oil and gas, they have big refineries. They have a lot of some plants have 600 porta cans. That's a multi-million-dollar contract. And again, construction. Construction is our number one, revenue.
There's porta potties everywhere. In construction.
They have last we checked this past year, there was like 30,000 active construction sites going on in Houston.
That's crazy. I thought you were gonna say the nation.
No.
In Houston. That's crazy,
yes,
bro.
Sir, but you got to think from buildings being bought up, renovation.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
All the little projects.
If a natural disaster happens, things get knocked down. Like, we have we have collectively with the suburbs, we have 7 million people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So a hurricane come, you like, come on.
Not
Hurricane
necessarily,
Irene.
But those are big contracts. Hurricanes are they can get up to $100+ million contracts if awarded. So again, we don't.
Come on, hurricane. Come on.
Our biggest thing to help us cash flow is the construction, and then obviously our highest margin customer are the industrial clients at the refineries. And again, when we have a natural disaster, we show up and we show out, and those are rewarding from a revenue standpoint. But it's still pretty sad to see everything being destroyed in people's communities. So we try not to prey on those.
Nah, for sure. You don't want to pray, but if it happened, you like cha-ching. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, man. They do well, man. Like I said, they'll say, hey, we had a disaster happen in this community. We need 500 porta cans, and we need you to clean them, 4 times a day. Well, if you cleaning those many, rentable items out that many times a day, that comes out to be, $20,000-$30,000 a day. And those porta cans will sit there for, probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Again, so again,
Come on now.
they do well. They do well.
Yes, sir.